this because I know that a lot of you, my lovely subscribers, have found me or decided to subscribe to me because of my Elder Scrolls content, and my most requested videos are to make, more of them, more Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim, and as much as I love to make that content for you and play those games in general, I was running them on a laptop that is now, unfortunately, una del platzen kaput. Like, I cannot get it to, they didn't even click buttons sometimes, so yeah, it doesn't look like any of those will be made in the near future because the other computer that I play those games on is at my parents' house across the country, so yeah, I didn't want you to think that I was like ignoring you purposefully or like not trying to make the kind of content that you enjoy. It's just I don't have it within my means to go out and purchase another laptop to game on. One, silver lining, hopefully. I have been wanting to build a PC. I'm saving up to build a PC, and when my boyfriend visits me next time, he's gonna help me build one, so whenever that is, I don't know, but yeah, hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I don't know, months probably, but when I do build a PC, I'll let you know because I'll make more content, but right now, I cannot, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna talk about video games, but I wanted to just let you know why I wasn't making those videos. Okay, so I have a glass of Coke Zero that I'm drinking, and I'm gonna start all the way at the beginning. So, the first console that I remember playing on was the Sega Dreamcast, though my father, he did have a Genesis that I think he purchased in 92, maybe. I don't know, actually know when the Genesis came out, but whenever it did, I'm pretty sure he had one because I think it's older than me. I think that the console's older than me, but the first console I remember playing is the Dreamcast, and so both with the Genesis and the Dreamcast, I was probably too young to really tackle the more complicated games. I remember mostly watching my brother play. There were some games that we played as a family that were quite simple, like Wacky Races was one of them. It was like racing game based off the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon Wacky Races, where you it's just really fun animated cars, and you get like power-ups, and they're all really silly, but those were fun. There was this one called Rush 2040-90, I think it was, and it was like a stunt game. You use these like cars with wings, and you'd get points if you did like really crazy stunts with flips, or like jumped off like these big ramps and these really large contraptions, and then you'd win the round by getting the most points by doing the craziest stunts. That one was really fun. We also played Sarge's Heroes. I think it was what it's called. It was this game with like toy plastic men, what are they called? Plastic soldiers, like the little green plastic soldiers, and you fight against the tan ones, and I think the gray ones are spies, and the blue ones are also on the tan one side. It was pretty silly, but it was really fun, and yeah, you'd shoot them, and there was like all these, I think you could probably play the campaign co-op, but I think there was like these like this multiplayer setting that it was like Battle Royale, and I would crush my cousins when I grew up, but like at the time I was never very good, but I was, like I said, 6 years old, and so the only games that I think I remember playing solo were on the Genesis, the Lion King game. It was ridiculously difficult. It was so hard. I don't think I ever got past the third level, and I think it was Sonic Adventures 2. The one, I think Tails is in that. Was he in the first one? But I think it was this. I think that we owned the second one, so that one was really fun. I liked that, and I would play with my brother. I would progress in Sonic's campaign, and then I would unlock new characters like Tails or Amy or Knuckles. I think you could also unlock Big, and then there was a robot. What was his name? Oh, I don't know. There was like Alpha, Beta, Gamma. I don't remember his name, but I feel like it started with an E, but maybe it didn't. And then there was Big the Cat, his campaign, and I feel like I have to keep bouncing around between them, and I never really progressed far enough to finish anyone's. But I watched my brother complete Sonic's, and so this was the one where you had to you were fighting Robotnik at this like unearthed this like chaos demon. I think his name was just Chaos, and he consumed Chaos Emeralds, and so you would try and get the Chaos Emeralds before Robotnik did, and then whenever Chaos ate a emerald, he would change form. He would get bigger and bigger, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm trying to think how far I got in that game, because I think that you start in what is it? It's like Station City. No, what is the city called? And then there's like a hotel and a pool. And I really love what were the chows? Is that what the little like the little green balls with like animated faces? Chow garden, chow. I feel like they're called chows, but I don't know if it's true. Anyway, and then you like collect animals from your missions, and then you could like go to the chow garden, and then you'd like combine the animal with the chow, and it'd have animal features, and then you could race them. I was really into that minigame. What is that? So there's a city, and then there's like a casino, and there was Emerald City, I think was another level, and then there was like on Robotnik's ship, that was another level. I don't know how far I actually got in that game, but I have like these vague memories of it, so maybe if you played it, maybe that jogs your memory too. But anyway, I didn't have to beat that game, but I watched my brother beat it. And then Sonic Adventure 2, I don't think I actually played much because I think our game got scratched, so my brother played it to a certain point, and then I think our game was scratched, so I could never progress past it. But I feel like my brother probably beat it. But I remember like by the time I was 6 is when I started to like develop feelings for these characters. It's like when I got to the age where I became romantically attracted to animated characters, and so I remember Shadow the Hedgehog and Rouge the Bat I was like in love with. So yeah, that game in my heart for many different reasons. But yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog, Rouge the Bat. And then there was this other game I played solo. It was called Skies of Arcadia, and that was like turn-based. I think you have like 3 characters in your party. You might have had more, but I only remember 3. And you like the whole world centers around like these sky ships that it looks like a boat, like a ship, but they're in the sky, and then you encounter enemies as you're sailing, and then I feel like there's all these different cities and towns you visit to get supplies, and then you run around the cities to get your quests. But I don't really remember the whole premise of the game. I just remember there was like this blonde princess lady and this like redhead scrappy girl and this brunette guy with an eye patch. But I don't really remember anyone's name. But I remember I got pretty far in that. I really enjoyed it. But there were games that were a little bit more complicated that I was just too young to know how to navigate, because there was one, it was called like Echo the Dolphin, that I thought was absolutely fascinating as a child. Like I had no idea what was going fish, and like I watched my brother get pretty far, but I tried to play it and I just didn't know what to do. I did not understand, and the sharks scared me when they came for me. I got too stressed out as a child. I did not, like, I couldn't handle it, so I didn't play that personally, but I remember really liking it. I remember watching my brother play a game called Grandia, which was like Skies of Arcadia, like similar turn-based thing, but you had more, it was more of like a fantasy game. Not like, well, the other game was fantasy too, but this was more like traditional, like Western fantasy, like elves and medieval times and stuff. But I remember there was like this demon named like Melinda, like Melisandre, that I remember being very attracted to. She's very sexy, but she like lived inside of this really innocent, chaste-looking girl. I don't know. It made me feel some type of way. Anyway, I remember watching my brother play that. Oh, what was the guy's name? It was like Rue. I'm gonna look it up. Because I think it was so cool. His name. I feel like his name Rue started with an R. This is what the image looked like. Grandia 2, and you played as that guy that I thought he was kind of cute. I thought everyone was pretty cute. I don't know, I liked everybody in this game. And he had a bird. I feel like I tried to play it, but I didn't get as far as my brother did. But yeah, all the women were so pretty, and the main protagonist was cool looking, so I enjoyed that. And then I don't really remember the goal. And then the other games that I distinctly remember was one that was like ported from Sega Genesis. It was called Altered Beasts, where you like transform. Every level you like fight as you're human. You start as human and you like fight enemies like Street Fighter style. Well, is it really Street Fighter style? I don't know, because I don't think you have weapons. I think you just have like powers. Like, anyway, and then you power up eventually enough to get to your altered state, which is like a werewolf or like a dragon. That game is really fun. I think it was for the Genesis, but we played it on the Dreamcast. And then there was Resident Evil Code Veronica, and I think Resident Evil 2 that my brother played, and I watched it, but I was kind of too scared to watch it too much because, I don't know, I love zombie movies now, but zombie games really freak me out. And I don't really play them on my own. Like, even now, Resident Evil, like 5, I think it's 5 and 6, I have played through to completion, but those are co-op games, so I play them with my boyfriend. Resident Evil 5 was probably my favorite because I love Sheva. Like, bring back Sheva, I want more Sheva. Like, Jill's always coming up here and there. Claire reappears many, many times, like, where's Sheva? I want more Sheva. Anyway, yeah, they have all these reoccurring characters, but no reoccurring Sheva, and it really disappoints me. But yeah, so my brother played those, and I remember I tried to play them, and I was too scared to play them on my own. I couldn't do it. And then I would go to school, and at this time I think I was probably like in like like a kindergarten type of thing. And I remember writing a story about zombies chasing me. There were zombies and zombie dogs, because I remember drawing them with like a peach colored crayon, drawing them naked with blood on their mouths and on their hands, and my teacher talking to my mother about me being a very imaginative child. Yeah, but I was really just ripping it off from Resident Evil. And then, speaking of zombie games, this is I think the last one I'll talk about from the Dreamcast era. There was one called Typing of the Dead, which was like, if you've ever been to an arcade, you might have seen House of the Dead, which is, you have like the blue and the green the blue and the red guns that you like hold and you shoot the enemies there, but it's for the Dreamcast, but you're typing, you have like a keyboard controller, and it's like to learn how to type, like you have to type fast, you gotta type fast. princess of video games. I think I couldn't really navigate such intricate worlds. I was a little bit just too young. I'd get overwhelmed and stressed out, so yeah. But then we got the Xbox, and by that time I had matured a little bit, so I could play some of the more graphic games. Honestly, I played games that were way too graphic for my age, but I remember playing I'm trying to think of some of the first ones I played. Oh my goodness, I completely missed out on the computer games that I played at that time. But let me talk about, well, I don't know, like I think I probably played computer games all throughout the interim. And I feel like Half-Life came out on the PC before Half-Life 2 was on the console. Like, obviously Half-Life came out first, but I feel like Half-Life came out for the PC and not for the console, which means that I played Half-Life before on the computer before I played Half-Life 2 on the Xbox. Like, I think that's how it seems like it should be a very easy, like, sequential thing to follow, but like I don't remember if I played Half-Life 2 first or if I played Half-Life first. Obviously Half-Life came out first, but I don't know which one I played first. And I think I played Half-Life Opposing Force, and that was the first game I played, and that game, like, I think it really did something weird with my brain, like the wiring in my brain, because I don't know, that game was pretty dark. It was like, I absolutely loved it. I completed it. I beat it when I was very young. I remember I was very young, because we played it on like an old, like really shitty computer, so I had to be pretty young. And it was like you were this like military officer, I don't know what branch, but you were going to the Black Mesa research facility because there was like this wormhole that opened up and there was this alien invasion, and you were supposed to go there to neutralize the threat. And I don't know what it is about alien life forms that I find so fascinating. I don't know, especially like when you're young and you're kind of like, nothing is really like, especially when you're young and your view of the world is so much of it is like what's tangible, what you see, and then you play these games that are like total fantasy games or like aliens, and it kind of just like shakes you, like it's kind of jarring almost. So yeah, I played it way too young and had such a blast. And there was like, yeah, wormholes opening up, you'd like go through portals to like new dimensions. Like, it was insane, and it totally blew my mind as a child. I loved that game so much. Opposing Force. But I don't really remember much about Half-Life, even though I know that I played it. And I don't remember anything about Blue Shift, because I know Blue Shift and Opposing Force, we got them as expansion packs for Half-Life. I don't remember Blue Shift, but I do remember Opposing Force. And I remember someone named Otis. Was there someone named Otis? I remember someone named Otis and being sad for him. And I loved headcrabs. I like wanted a headcrab hat so badly. But anyway, that was on the computer. I just wanted to throw that in there because now we're going on to the Xbox, and I feel like I was older when I played the Xbox. I was a little bit more mature. I definitely played more RPGs, which is not really something that I did on the Dreamcast. So for the Xbox, I think that the games that really jump out at me were obviously Halo, because that was like an Xbox exclusive, and it was such a big deal when it came out. So I played 1 through 3. Those were all on the original Xbox, I think. So 1 through 3 I played through brutes, but I think those appear in Halo 2, and then there's the hunters. Those are the like worm ones. The worm ones. Am I missing anybody? The jackals were like the snipers. They had the big shield, and you'd shoot the shield, and the shield would change colors. And then the grunts, I always felt bad because they had the cutest little voices, and you'd hear them. They'd be like, "I want to be taller," or something like that. Like, "I wish I was taller." And they'd like squee when you'd shoot them, and the blood was like bright blue, and the guns were so cool. You had the plasma pistol, the needler. Oh my god, those were so crazy. I loved that game. I just like the alien world again, especially as I think I still get excited about those things now, but especially as a child, when everything is still new to you, and then you see something like completely out of the blue that my mind couldn't even like ever imagine. I feel like now that I've seen so much fantasy material, now that I've like, consumed it through books and through like literature, through TV shows and video games, like things don't feel quite as original anymore. But when you're a child, everything is new. So I think that's probably why I remember these so well. But yeah, I remember being very attracted to Elites, being very attracted to the Arbiter. I had a poster of him on my wall. Yeah, and then I don't really remember much of the storyline of any of those games now, but back then I remember like at the end of Halo when you get into the Warthog and you have to like race out to a certain location because the planet's gonna blow up or something, and then there's this one scene where there's like this soldier marine and this elite like fighting over an assault rifle or something. Assault rifle, I said that really funny. Anyway, this soldier and this marine fighting over an assault rifle, and then they like realize that the planet's gonna blow up and then they're gonna die, and then they just like hug it out. I'm pretty sure I cried at the ending of Halo, but I was very emotional. I still am. So I really enjoyed that game. Once my brother left for college, unfortunately, I don't think I played any more of that series. Once my brother left, because I don't really enjoy first-person shooters. We did play I feel like we did Call of Duty. Were there Call of Duties for the original Xbox? But yeah, I don't really like first-person shooters, but I really enjoyed Halo, playing it with my brother. I don't think I would have enjoyed it nearly as much if I played it by myself. And the Flood, I thought was such a cool concept. It's like a zombie alien species, and you have this big like ones that walk really fast and not really bloated. Then you shoot them, and then the little babies explode. Oh, that's such a good game. So cool. Oh my god, what a game! Like cultural reset. I feel like. Anyway. Okay. And then what else? MechAssault was another game that I played with my brother. It was all about. Oh, I'm gonna look up the names of the MechAssault. Just Xbox. No, not Xbox One. I want to know the names of the Mech Warriors. Because anyway, so MechAssault, it was like you had these big robots that you would get into, and then you could either play on Xbox Live and like do a battle royale, or you'd do like team deathmatch or capture the flag or something. But you could just play locally, and it'd be like me and my brother fighting these Mech Warriors that fell from the sky. But yeah, I remember the Atlas was like the really big one that was on like the cover, and then there was the Cougar. I think that was my favorite one because it could fly. It was a little bit more compact, and each of the Mech Warriors had like different weapons, and there was some that would shoot fast, and some that would be like a big ball at once, and then there was like a tiny little baby called the Elemental. It looked like a little butterfly, but I think you could like grab onto buildings with it and like scale up buildings that way. But yeah, and then there was like some that had the same model but different features. Like one could make you go invisible. I want to say it was called like the Puma or something. But yeah, I really liked it. So that's what the thing, what it looked like. MechAssault. And then my brother had Xbox Live at this time, and I remember one time we played together, and I was being a total bitch child, and I was just spinning around shooting everybody, and we got kicked out because I didn't know what I was doing. I was shooting everybody, thought it was like, I'm so good at this, look at me killing everybody, but turns out I was shooting my teammates. And so I remember some guy like on the internet being like, my brother, his gamer tag was Master Fessa, I think, and they were like, Master Fessa, get out of here, because I was his guest and I killed everybody. So that wasn't good for me. It was not a good thing for me to do. I'm trying to remember the other names, but I only remember like Cougar, Puma, there might have been a panther. There was like Ragnarok, I think, could go invisible maybe. Ragnarok was a cool one. And then they also had a MechAssault too, which I didn't enjoy quite as much for some reason, even though I thought they had introduced really cool features. Like you could hack into, like you would be in this power suit that could fly around and you could hack into your enemies, like robot, and like get them out, like hijack it, not hack it, hijack it. That was cool. Okay, so that was another one that we played together, but I'm trying to think of like solo RPGs now. And the first one that comes to mind is a Fable. I played Fable, I guess all of them, and when I played it the first time around, I was like such an innocent little summer child. I did not understand any of the raunchy innuendos. I didn't even know that they were like, you could sleep with your wife or husband or whatever. I did not know that you could do that. And I was very innocent. I found a really pretty wife. We settled down. We lived very, very happy for many, many years. And then I played it again when Fable, what is it, like the Lost Tales or something? It's the one that's like the director's cut edition, basically. Like Fable. Lost Chapters, yeah. That was such a good game. Oh my goodness, such a good game. I loved Fable. I slaughtered innocent civilians left and right. I remember when I came to Oakvale, because like when you were in Bowerstone, was that what it was called, Bowerstone? Because you were the hero of Oakvale in the first one, hero of Bowerstone in the second, maybe. There was like a Bowerstone south and north. Oh, I hope that I'm saying these words right, but anyway, in like Bowerstone, which I think that's the first town that you come across. Yeah, Bowerstone. The first time that you come across, you like, the guards won't let you pull out your weapons, and so I couldn't kill anybody. And then once I got to Oakvale, I like slaughtered everyone left and right. Mostly I would propose to women and they would reject me, and I'd kill them, and then nobody wanted to marry me in that town because I killed everybody and they were so scared of me. But yeah, so I remember, so in Fable, you have this like moral alignment, and so when you're good, you like glow this ethereal bluish tone, and then when you're evil, you lose your hair and you grow horns, and your eyes glow red, I think, or your skin cracks or something like that. And once I was dressed in like this like obsidian black armor with like a big ass hammer that I got in like the dark woods part when you're killing like the hobbs. There's like a demon door, and like if you kill enough hobbs, you get this cool like obsidian mace. Not a mace, it was like a warhammer. And I was like all dressed in black. I looked so cool. I had this like dark like emo haircut, and all of a sudden my hair started falling out, and I was like, why am I going bald? And then I realized that being evil makes you go bald, and then I didn't want to be evil anymore. But my horns looked so good. But I was definitely evil. But at that point I was already married, so my wife didn't care. But usually when you're evil, people didn't like you, which that's totally not realistic, because people like you when you're evil if you have money, which I did. So people should have really liked me. But anyway, so Fable, once we got the Lost Chapters, I was a little bit older at that point. I realized that there was these vulgar like gestures that you could make, and then your wife, well, I always married women, but you could probably marry a man. What was I saying? Anyway, yeah, there was like would sleep with you. And I didn't know that was a thing. But yeah, it was like really, really campy. It was a very campy game, and I really, really enjoyed that. So yeah, Fable: The Lost Chapters. That was a really, really, really good game. I think I have Fable the Anniversary Edition on my PC. I don't think I've ever booted it up. I don't think I could on my laptop, but maybe that's a game I can play again when I build a PC. And then yeah, so as far as RPGs, that was definitely the first one that I got into. There was this other game on Xbox that I remember really, really enjoying. It was called Jade Empire, and it was, I believe it's made by BioWare, which is the same video game development company. I don't know what it's called, but BioWare. It makes Mass Effect, and it made this game called Jade Empire, which was set in ancient China, and you had this mission. I think you were training as some sort of monk, and you had, I don't remember, there was some evil spirit force that you had to defeat, and so you were sent out into the world, and you got companions along the way, and it was a very, very cool fantasy game, especially because it's not Western, or it's not traditional Western style fantasy, where it's you know how Fable is, or how Skyrim or Oblivion are very much centered around this Western idea of what medieval times were, medieval fantasy. But this was very, very unique. I hadn't played anything like it before. I highly recommend it. Jade Empire, it was great. And then I played through it twice. The first time I also didn't realize you could romance anybody. Then I realized you could. What a change. What a change. You introduce stakes when you introduce romance. I really appreciate that in games. So yeah, Jade Empire was so, so, so cool. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other games I played on the Xbox. I don't really remember, but I do remember there was you had big clunky controllers that it came with. They were very, very big and very clunky, but then they made them smaller, which was so great because the smaller ones could fit my hand. Xbox 360 games, I think, is when I started to develop a little bit of video games became a form of escapism for me. It wasn't just something I did as fun. It was a time when I became increasingly depressed and started to deal with a lot of mental illness, and whenever I isolated myself, I would kind of escape through fantasy games. So kind of a more I don't know, I don't want to be a downer, but I think a lot of people might be able to empathize with me there, that it happens to quite a lot of people, especially when you're an adolescent. Xbox 360, what games do I remember the most? Obviously Oblivion. I started playing Oblivion when I was 10, and that was the first game that I think I was ever truly obsessed with. My brother and I fought over Oblivion so much, because first he started playing it, and I thought it was kind of like Fable, so I was like, that's kind of cool, medieval fantasy type, and so he played it, and I would just kind of watch him, because I was a little bit, I was not quite understanding the open world, because to me, I thought all video games had this rigid plot that you had to follow, this rigid quest line that you had to follow, the paths were all carved out for you, you couldn't really go explore the mountains and stuff. I wasn't used to open world. I had never played an open world game before. So Oblivion seemed a lot darker, a lot larger, much more ambitious of a game, and so I hadn't played Morrowind or anything. This was the first Elder Scrolls game that I played, and so my brother, he made his character, and then eventually I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna try it too, and so I played it, and I remember my first character I named after my dog, and she was a Bosma. She had blue eyes and really tan skin, and kind of mahogany auburn hair, and she looked really ugly when you zoomed in, because in Oblivion, when you zoom in, all the characters look like potatoes, and his skin looked all veiny and weird, but when you zoomed out, she looked really good. So yeah, I was a wood elf. I will always be a wood elf from now on. And I remember going through the dungeon, and getting really frightened by the zombies, and the goblins were like a little bit scary, but not like too bad. And I remember like in Fable, the way you'd heal was you drink a potion or you eat a piece of food. And so I remember coming across rat meat and like eating the rat meat, and it would do that, and the like sound effect where you like you know, like the really like manly female's voice of elves. It's like because you're like taking damage. I think it's damage fatigue or something. That's the effect from rat meat. But yeah, and I was like, what the heck? Why am I not healing? And I was very, very stumped. And then you exit the sewers when you finish the tutorial. You exit the sewers and you come out on this like pier overlooking Lake Romet, and there's like an alien ruin in the background, and there's like these little flowers, and everything looks incredible. And I remember being like absolutely stunned when I understood like when I saw like just how expansive this world was. It was overwhelming, and there were mud crabs, and there were like clams with pearls inside of them in the sea. There was a lot of fish, and then you get to the Imperial City, and you're like, oh my god, it's humongous, and there's all this white marble walkway, and all these like shops that you can steal from. It was insane. It blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. And I remember trying to find a place to sleep. I couldn't find when I went to the waterfront, and there was that abandoned shack, and I lived in that abandoned shack for so long before I realized the chests respawn. And I put all my shit in that barrel, and everything got wiped away, and then I had to go out and like find new ways to make money. I was a thief, like right from the start, a thief. And I had so much time, so much fun by going into the shops, and they'd be like, you know how when you're in the shop and then the shopkeeper's like staring at you, and then you like move away, and then they run to follow you. So I'd be in a shop in the Imperial City, and I'd run up the stairs to the second floor, and then they would run up and follow me, and then when they'd get up there, I'd run back down and steal everything that I could, and then I'd leave, and they would never know because they're dummies. And so something also about breaking into people's houses and watching them, I really, really enjoyed. I really don't know why, but it was very, very thrilling to me to break into a house and look through their drawers and see them sleeping, and sometimes I would just kill them anyway, because something about that made me very, very satisfied. So I'm not sure what that says about me as a child, but I really enjoyed killing people in Oblivion. Nowadays I don't, but when I was little, I did. For no reason. But the first person that I killed, who was it? I'm trying to remember how I got recruited into the Dark Brotherhood, but I don't even remember who I killed. It might have been Heinrich Okenhall, because I did that Siren's Deception quest, where it's like when you're in an anvil. No, yeah, when you're in an anvil and you go to the flowing bowl, I think is what it's called, the flowing bowl. It's the tavern on the dock. Oh my god, I've played this game so many hours. Oh my god, so many hours. I sound like I'm obsessed because I'm obsessed. Anyway, you go to the flowing bowl, and these like two women come up to you. It's a Nord, what's her name? Signy, Homewrecker, and Faustina. I don't remember her last name, but Faustina. And they come up to you and they're like, hey, you look like you know how to make some money. Like, you look like you could make some money. And I'm like, whoa, what are they implying? And they're like, we trick men. We lure them out to the farm, and then we rob them blind. They think they're gonna have their way with us, but they never touch us. Then we say, we're robbing you. And they only pick on married men, so then the married men are too embarrassed to go to the guard. And when I did that quest, you'd go there, and then it ends up that you are you end up working with the guards to like basically shut down this woman's the crime ring. But I should have been able to join them, really, but anyway, you can't. So then you can like see that in the basement of the farm where they pull all these heists, all these rocks or whatever, there's like Ernest's fancy shirt and like Penris Inventius's like best shirt or best trousers, and you see that all the men in the town were trying to cheat on their wives, and I was like, fuck you for trying to cheat on your wife, I'm gonna kill you. So it might have been Heinrich Okenhall, because his family heirloom was in there. I was like, you're not cheating on my girl Hasabel, because Hasabel's a Bosma, and I feel like I have to look out for my sister Bosma. But then it turns out that Hasabel is also cheating on Heinrich O'Connell, because you find a letter in her house that's like, meet me behind the stables, like, I miss you so much. And she's cheating on her husband with this runty little Bosma man who works at Morvain's Pacemakers. Everybody's fucked up, so I think I ended up killing everybody there, but that might have been my first murder. But it might not have been, I don't really remember. I remember killing Alicia Otis, who's the one that writes all the guides to Shadenhall and guides to Anvil and guide to Prevail and everything. She's basically this like ugly religious zealot who's just like nasty and hates on everybody, and I was like, you suck, so I killed her too. Obviously I killed the Countess of Leowin, obviously, but she wasn't my first one. She wasn't the first one because she's essential for quite a long time. It sounds like I'm only killing women, but I swear I kill men too. I was definitely a serial killer when I played that game the first time around. I was definitely a serial killer. And then, so with that same character, I completed the Shivering Isles and the Knights of the Nine. I played through the Oblivion main quest line. I don't think I did the Mage's Guild with that character, but I definitely did the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild. I don't think. I'm not sure if I've ever finished the Fighters Guild questline, but I know that I got up to the point where you're in the Blackwood Company and you learn that there's like this hist, the hist is in there, or like a kind of corrupted hist. But I don't know if I actually ever completed the Fighters Guild questline. But yeah, I played so much Oblivion. Like, I know so much ridiculous stuff about that because of the amount of hours that I've sunk into that game. So yeah, Oblivion was the first one that I played, like, obsessively. I played Fable 2. That one is probably my favorite Fable because I really enjoy being a female character. Not that I, like, can't take joy out of being male characters, because sometimes you don't have a choice, you know? But I really enjoy being able to be a female heroine. And so, I got such a kick out of Fable. I think I downloaded like every expansion pack there was, or every DLC there was for that one. So Fable 2 was good. Fable 3 sucks ass. Don't ask me about it. I hate it. It was butt ass. So I'm not gonna talk about that. It was bad. And then, but I did play it multiple times. So I gave it a shot. But it was so much wasted potential. So much wasted potential. Mass Effect, the Mass Effect trilogy. I played through Mass Effect once. I played through Mass Effect 2 like 5 different times so that I could romance everybody. Well, okay, well, first of all, in Mass Effect 1, I romanced Kaden, I believe it was. I don't know what it was about Liara. She was kind of a little too pushy for me. I just kind of wanted to be friends with Liara. You know who I really wanted to romance? I really wanted to romance Tali, but you can't. She doesn't swing that way, so. Oh wow. But anyway, Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2. When I found out that you could romance Garrus, obviously I was gonna romance Garrus. Garrus Vicarian is a babe. He's with you from the beginning. Kaden pulls that bullshit on Horizon. Like, obviously, why would I want to be with him after that anyway? So even if Kaden and I didn't have that argument on Horizon, I would still romance Garrus because I love him. I love him. He's cute. He's a good sniper. Take him everywhere I go. But then I met Thane. And I feel like green is just, I don't know, something about a green lizard man. A green amphibious man. No. He's more reptile because I remember the town country that the Drell come from is like really arid. So anyway, Drell, Thane. Once I met him, I knew that I had to romance him, but I was already romancing Garrus, so then I made another save. I made another, not just a save, like a whole other character, a whole other shepherd that would match his vibe. Like I even changed my appearance so that I'd look better next to Thane. It was ridiculous. So ridiculous. Like I think I had like my Garrus shepherd was like brunette with blue eyes and like kind of like a muted neutral makeup, and then like my Thane shepherd was like had green eyes and black hair and like a nude lipstick. and like I don't know, and my armor matched his armor, and then when I was my Garrus Shepherd, my Garrus Shepherd matched Garrus's armor. Yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing, and then I made another save, or I made another Shepherd so that I could romance Tally. So I did everything again, just so that I could have these 3 different romances. Which is kind of ridiculous, but whatever, I wanted to do it. And then Mass Effect 3 I only played through once, and I also like I don't know how badly I messed it up, but I messed it up, and I like my ending, I don't know, it was a sad ending. I don't know what happened. I think I died. Apparently you don't have to die, but I died as we go. I messed it up somewhere. And then once I realized that Thane was gonna die in Mass Effect 3, I never touched my Thane Shepherd again, because that was too much heartbreak. I cried. Yeah, I cried because I'm emotional like that. Anyway, okay, so that Mass Effect. Oh, Fallout. I haven't touched about Fallout. So the first Fallout game I played, Fallout 3, and then I really liked Fallout 3. I don't know what to say about that besides I really liked it. And I remember the first time that I visited DC was when I was in college, and I had played Fallout 3 maybe like 5 times by then. And I remember going, like, I was more excited to be wandering around DC and recognizing the things that I saw in Fallout, being like, oh, this is where like the history museum is, you know, that's where I would get Sharon, and that's where, you know, oh, Megaton is like on this side of Virginia, you know. I was more excited to put DC in the context of Fallout 3 DC than I was in the context of American history, which is not something that I'm particularly proud of, but I have to acknowledge and address. So, yeah, I really enjoyed Fallout 3, and then I played Fallout New Vegas. I think I played through Fallout New Vegas at least twice. I don't think I ever actually got through all of the expansions. I think I've played, what is it? The hard one, the one where you're in Zion. What is that one? Like Lonely Hearts or something. I don't know what that one's called. But I played through that one. I played through Old Wood Blues, and I played through Dead Money. And I would think that, okay, so I think that Fallout New Vegas has much better writing. I think that Obsidian did a really great job with it. Anyway, I love what they did with Fallout New Vegas. The dialogue was so witty. It was so campy. I really enjoyed that game so much. I think that I got a lot more Fallout New Vegas reminded me a lot more of Fallout 2 vibes, because again, I think that the older Fallout games are a little bit more campy, and I think that when I talk to people who started Fallout with Fallout 3, didn't appreciate New Vegas as much because they thought it was too weird, they thought it was too comical or too campy, and they wanted something with a little bit more realism, and I think they got that from Fallout 3, which was much more like, you could see the effects of the apocalypse in the ruins of the city. Like, it really was just civilization has collapsed, and I think that spoke to them a bit more than like the wild wasteland. But when you play like Fallout 1 or Fallout 2, it takes place on the West Coast. So after I played Fallout 3, I think I played Fallout 2, and so then I think I played Fallout New Vegas after that, so I was kind of already primed for it. And also, I don't know, I really like that idea of there being this like pocket of hedonism middle of the aftermath of a nuclear apocalypse. I thought that was a really cool premise. I thoroughly enjoyed New Vegas. I will always have a fondness in my heart for Fallout 3 though, because it was the first one that I played, and the playlist, oh my goodness, perfection. Jaren, I love Jaren Dogmeat, I love him. I'm trying to think, the DLCs were also really good. Broken Steel is like a must-have. I'm so sad that in New Vegas you couldn't play after you finished it, so I just never finished it. I never actually did the final battle. I just never did. But Fallout 3 you could continue playing with Broken Steel. Point Lookout, I played through Point Lookout. I played through the Pit. The Pit was like, it was okay. Vegas, I think then I moved on to Skyrim, and I bought Skyrim the day that it came out, 11/11/11. I spent all my, not all, but like I spent a good chunk of my babysitting money on it. I remember calling GameStop being like, do you still have Skyrim in stock? They're like, yeah, and then my mom drove me and we bought it, and I came home and I played it. And I think at this point, what's also like a turning point in my video game like journey is because my brother had moved away for college. So when it came to video games, I was kind of only playing what I wanted to, because I think that he moved away in 2009, and so I want to say maybe Fallout New Vegas and Fable 3 came out after he had moved. I think that might have been the thing, because I feel like I had to make a decision at Christmas time, like which one do I want, Fallout New Vegas or Fable 3, because they came out around the same time. And I feel like I had to make that decision, whereas previously it would be my brother making the decision on what kind of video game to buy. So I feel like Skyrim is the first game that like I actually bought myself and played through first. Like, I think my brother probably would be oh yes, my brother played the Fallout New Vegas first, because I remember watching the opening credit scene when it's like, you know, it's Benny in this checkered suit, and he's like, ring-a-ding-ding, baby, like, I ain't a think, you dig, some shit like that, you know. I feel like at one point I could quote it, but anyway, yeah, I feel like I watched my brother play that when he was home for Christmas time, and I think I got Fable 3 and he got Fallout New Vegas, but we both played them eventually. But anyways, but Skyrim was the first one I played on my own, in my house, paid with my own money, and yeah, amazing, so amazing. I love that game. Do I love it as much as Oblivion? No. Is it a better game than Oblivion? Also, no. But that's just my opinion, so it doesn't really matter. I just feel like because I was really, really anxious and moody at that time in my life when I played Skyrim, I definitely used that game to escape problems that I had at home, and like especially in 2012 and 2013, that's when like I started having like severe anxiety, and like that's when my eating disorder started to get really bad. Like I would wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning to play Skyrim on the weekends and just like forget about everything, and that sounds like a really unhealthy coping mechanism, but honestly, like if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would have done. Like I would have been really, really sad, because like then like when the morning came, I would take a little nap, and then I'd have to go to like practice, or I'd have to like I don't know what I did on the weekends. I think I would have to practice for my sport, because like my sport was a really, really, really big part of my stress when I was growing up, and on the weekends I'd have to dedicate a lot of time. I'd have meets, or I'd have competitions, and or I'd have to go to train, and like the way that it worked in my house was that like on the weekends from like noon to 4, we had one TV in our house, and it was my father's like kingdom. Like I couldn't touch it. So when it came to video games, I'd have to play like at night when you went to bed, or I'd just wake up early in the morning and play them, and so I'd get that amount of time in to play, and it was just kind of my routine. It would be my routine. Like Friday nights, sometimes I would play. I would usually wake up early to play in the morning, like wake up like at 3. I'd set my alarm so I could play from 3 to like 8, and then I could take a little nap and then get on with my day. But yeah, and I definitely did this for Fallout New Vegas and for Skyrim, and for Mass Effect I did that as well. Mass Effect 2, because I think I played those games in middle school and high school, which was also like the time when I started doing sports, and I started getting really stressed, and I started getting really anxious and sad, because it was just that time of puberty. But I remember those games really getting me through so much, because I could be someone that I wasn't. I could be somebody that didn't have my kind of problems. I could just really get enmeshed in the role that I was playing. Like, it's not as though I envisioned myself like me, Soya, in that it wasn't a self-insert, it was just being somebody else entirely that I thoroughly enjoyed and I really, really needed, and it's something that I would do, you know, like you could do the same thing with reading. I think a lot of reading now is kind of an escape for me too, but back then it was definitely video games, especially because it's something very, active, like you're actively changing the world around you, and when you're a teenager, like everything feels so dramatic, you feel like the world is ending, like you'll never find happiness, you'll never find satisfaction, that however it is now, it'll be forever, and so it was nice to, at least for like, you know, a couple hours, feel as though I was controlling the world around me. And yes, you could take that to a psychologist and someone might say that that's very unhealthy, but I really don't think it is. And it's not like I was, you know, being extremely, excessively cruel or violent. I think at that point in my life, I also, like, didn't really I wasn't really a serial killer like I was in Oblivion. Like, I think I was much more of, like, you know, I might be a little bit morally ambiguous in my video games, but it's not like that says anything about who I am. I think people who think that violent video games are what makes children violent are neglecting the bigger picture, or neglecting the actual problems that underlie mental illness, and depression and loneliness, and like a lack of feeling as though you matter in society. So anyway, that's just my little rant. So yeah, so that's like up until like 2013, 2014, I was mostly playing those kinds of RPGs. I didn't really play any co-op games because I didn't have anyone to play with. I didn't really have friends in high school. My brother was gone. Sometimes we'd play Mass Effect 3 because it had an online version, and one time I think I got like a free like 30-day trial for Xbox Live or something. So we would sometimes play that on the weekends. That was kind of cool. But then after that, so I think 2014 or I think it was 2014, 2013. I don't remember what year it was. I got a PC. I got a gaming PC. And I downloaded Oblivion, Skyrim, Morrowind, what other games? Mostly, I think those were the ones that I was like super, super into, because I got all the mods that, you know, updated the graphics, and like revamped the leveling system and stuff. So it felt a little bit more modern, even though it was early 2000s games. And so I had spent so much time on the PC after that, and so I never really went back to console after that year. So then it's just kind of been me replaying, the same games over and over again. And then once I got to college, I forgot about Age of Empires. That was a co-op game that I played with my brother growing up. And then when I got to college, I met people who played that too. So we would play Age of Empires. We would play, what other co-op games did I play with people back then? I don't really know much else besides Age of Empires that we played. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I guess Stardew Valley, I played that with my boyfriend. Also RimWorld, we got the mod that you could make that multiplayer. That's another one that we played a lot of. RimWorld, Age of Empires, Stardew Valley. Divinity, like I got into that last year. Divinity, we're on a third playthrough, I think. We didn't really finish the second one, but we're on a third playthrough of Divinity. What is my name? Diddy Gonzalez. My boyfriend, his character is Hot Wheels Richardson. And he downloaded a mod, so we're playing a modded Divinity now, and that redid all the spells. It has this weird, astral leveling system where you get, I don't know, it's completely revamped. It's really fun though. I'm enjoying it a lot. And then we also played the first Divinity. We played Divinity Original Sin, and that game is so much more different. I get a lot more like Fable vibes from that one than I did in Divinity 2, but it's a lot campier. There's like these big orc women who are like an insane boots have heels on them, and like I was wearing these assless chaps as I was fighting, and I couldn't do anything about it. Like I didn't want my ass out, but they were out, and I couldn't do anything about my outfit to make it any different. Yeah, very strange game, but fun, but a lot campier. It's a much different vibe than Divinity 2, but if you like Divinity 2, you'll probably like it. I enjoyed it, but yeah, very, very different, a little bit more cartoony, campier for sure. I'm trying to think of other games recently I played Salt and Sanctuary. I don't know if you've ever played it. It's like a 2D side scroller, and it's very, very dark, very, very dark. Like the animation style is dark, the world is dark, the enemies are creepy as hell, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I really, really like it. Salt and Sanctuary, check it out. They're coming up with another one called like, I don't know. I actually don't know what the other one's called. Salt and something else. Very fun. And another really good co-op game that I played with my boyfriend is, because that's the only person I play co-op games with. It was called A Way Out. A Way Out, and you are two people in jail, and you work together to get out, and then you have to like avenge somebody. Oh, you have these. Each character has their own like plot for vengeance, and you fulfill the plot for vengeance. And I bawled at the end. I'm not gonna give away any spoilers, but like I bawled my eyes out. I was so sad. It was a good game. It was a lot of plot holes. Like when you think about it, like plot holes. But anyway, it was very, 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 very fun. I really liked that. But I think that's kind of it as far as video games that I've played recently. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop there because this is already an hour and 18 minutes long, so I hope you enjoy.